August 10th, 2022. 6:59 p.m. right before 7 o'clock. And I'm here at VodPod Media Studios with my guy, radio husband, and producer Gylan Jackson, making sure everything is running smoother than olive oil on a baby's behind. How are you doing today, Gylan?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Caroline?
Good. I love the studio. Everything's set up so beautifully today.
We got some stuff. We got some stuff for them today. They're not even ready for this.
I know. I was like, man, this is like really, really cute. I'm kind of excited to see what surprises you have for me today, because you guys always know, like, every time Gylan is on, I don't know what he has set up for me. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. I went to a boxing event over the weekend. I want to talk about that. I was at the Showdown at the Shrine Auditorium. It was such a great time. I also went to go cover the missions, and I saw Fernando Tatis Jr. right up and center in the flesh, and I want to let you guys know what I thought about that. Everybody was asking me for autographs, and I want to tell you guys how I feel about that too. Also, we're going to be talking about why is the media hating on Dejounte Murray, and is Dejounte Murray just a bad boy now, or are the fans soft? We're also going to be talking about our top 5 revenge games in the NFL. We're predicting that it's the Broncos versus the Seahawks, Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs, Indiana Colts and Las Vegas Raiders, Cleveland Browns and Houston Texans, and Kansas City Chiefs and Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be definitely getting into that. And also, we're going to be talking about the top 3 NFL players we're looking out for. And, of course, Gylan is going to surprise me with some pop culture stuff for this and that. Of course, we're going to be having a great time, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I went to a boxing event this weekend. It was promoted by AAA Promotions, and I was invited out by South Park Boxing, Rick Nunez Huerta, and Rick Huerta Nunez. I always forget, every time Mexicans, we have our names. We don't know, whether our first name is our last name or our last name is our middle name. But my boy Rick, he's a trainer. He also is a trainer for Mario Barrios too. He invited me out with his wife, Kristen. Oh my gosh. When I tell you that local boxing needs to be celebrated more, I really, really mean that, because lately I have been heavy on the going to local boxing events to show love and support, and to just bring awareness to our community that these events are out here, because it seems like a lot of people follow me, they are into sports, but they really don't see the local wrestling events that are here in San Antonio. That's why I go to River City Wrestling. They don't really see the local boxing events that are here in San Antonio, and there's a lot of great ones too. And I feel like there's a lot of promotions in the city, and they're all great in their own personal way. I really love how, AAA Promotions and South Park Boxing really held their event. It was a really great, close-knit feel. There was a lot of people were selling their merch, as they always do, trying to get their names out there. And, of course, there was great fights. I was up close and personal. I literally felt their sweat just dripping on me just from fighting so close. I saw a couple of knockout moments. The women's fight lasted less than 40 seconds, and it was just an incredible event overall. It was a really long event. You definitely get your money's worth. It's $40 at the door, but you literally are there from 5 o'clock to midnight, so you can stay there all night if you want to. And, of course, there was celebrities there, too. The former world champion, Mario Barrios, was there in the building. People were taking pictures from him. And even at the other events, too, you might see a celebrity. You might see a Spurs player. You might see a world champion boxer. And the craziest thing about it is these boxers started right here in San Antonio. And I feel with Louis Villarreal, who they did the ring announcer did a special 10 count for his father who passed away. That man is special. That man is going to go places that are really, really far. He's great fighters. There was a ton of great fighters there that evening, and I saw some really great fights. The co-main event was spectacular. The main event was spectacular. I saw people. You could tell that these boxers are dedicated to their craft. I saw some of them had cupping from, I don't know if you guys ever been to like a massage parlor. Gylan, have you ever gotten a massage and gotten cupping before?
Yeah, I hang out with Deshaun Watson, so yeah.
Not that type of massage. That's not the. I don't think the box get that type of massage.
No, those are cuppings. It's not they generally are not at a massage parlor.
I've gotten cupping before at a massage parlor.
What did you get cuppings for?
Yeah, if you go to Spa de Sante here in San Antonio, they do cupping.
What are you getting cuppings for?
Because my back hurts, and
that's for athletes.
I'm an athlete.
Oh, okay.
I'm an athlete. I'm always at the gym. I'm always lifting weights. Come on.
Okay, my bad. I
am always lifting weights, so I need to get cupped. And that sounds very sexual, doesn't it? Cupped.
What's your what? Sexual, huh?
Cupped, like I got cupped today. That sounds kind of sexual.
No, the cuffed. That would be cuffed, not cupped.
Oh yeah, cuffed would be sexual, but cupping too. Like I went to a massage parlor, and got cupped.
I know. I didn't use a massage parlor. Like all I think now is Dejounte Murray. Not
Dejounte Murray.
Oops.
Well, I think you're thinking about
that was a slip. No, cupping is supposed to be like amazing. I know that a lot of Olympics swimmers get that and stuff like that. So, and I'm not knocking you. I know you're an athlete. I've seen you play. I saw you throw the first pitch out at the Missions game.
Yeah, exactly. So I've had a good time. So
yes,
I mean, I need to get cupping. I work out a lot, so I just have a good time doing that. So it was really fun. Now, I want to talk about also, too, Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't know if you guys follow me on social media, but I did have some clips of getting some answers from him. He was here in San Antonio. He's still here playing with the Missions. He's playing with them on their away games right now. And I decided to go all the way to the Missions because I live over there, like closer to New Braunfels. So me driving out to a Missions game is a journey. It takes me longer to get to the Missions game than it does to get to Austin, Texas. So it's a little bit hardcore me driving all the way out there, but I really wanted to get some sound bites from him and get some clips and just kind of see how he feels as far as getting back into shape, going back to play with the Padres. He did say that he felt like he was 100% and that he's getting closer to being able to be playing with the Padres. He was enjoying his time here in San Antonio. We asked him about the weather. He said the weather here in San Antonio doesn't really bother him because he's from the Caribbean. He's Dominican, so the weather doesn't bother him, but he feels like he's ready to play. And the lines at the Missions game were super long to see. So that was the part where I was like, oh my goodness, it is so long. And it is just, it was just a spectacular event. If you got to go see him play for the Missions, you definitely got to see a superstar in the making. He has a 10-year contract, I believe, $340 million or $320 million.
Wow.
He is a superstar, youngest player to have such a big contract, and he is worth it. He used to play for the San Antonio Missions. In 2018, the San Antonio Missions debuted the Flying Chanclas jersey, and he was one of the first players to wear a Flying Chanclas jersey. They brought it back this past Sunday so he can wear it again. So it's really interesting to see him back here in San Antonio, rehabilitating from his wrist injury that he had from a motorcycle accident. I'm really, really happy that I got to go up there and not necessarily get an autograph. And let me tell you something real quick. I'm going to go on a quick rant.
Wait. Why are you going? Hold on. I think it's time for me to. No, I'll wait. Go ahead.
No, yeah. Let me just go on a quick rant.
I was going to show my face, but if you want to go on a rant,
show your face. Show your face.
No. We'll wait.
Why don't you? Okay. All right. Let me just say something real quick. Nobody hardly ever supports my work. Actually, they do support my work. A lot of people support me. Don't get me wrong, right? But there's a certain amount of people that never support me. They never like my stuff. They never share my stuff. They were in my DM trying to get an autograph for Fernando Tatis Jr. They were like, yo, I see you out there with Fernando. Can you give me an autograph? I'm like, you never support me. Don't you think that if I were to give somebody an autograph, it would be somebody who supports me? Don't you think I'd get an autograph for my damn self? I can't get autographs for people if I'm in the media. That's what I wanted to say. And it's no hate to nobody. I ain't taking shots at nobody. It wasn't just one person who did it. It was a multitude of people. Some of them support me, some of them don't. So I'm not talking about somebody in particular, but it was just kind of amazing how men never slide in my DM to holler at me anymore. They just slide in my DM so they could get autographs.
What? Listen, okay, it's time for me to come on camera.
Okay.
All right. Can everybody see me? Not yet. They'll be seeing me in a second. There we go. Listen, I hear what you're saying, Carolina, and it makes sense, right? But I guess I'm like a groupie type person. And I thought that Fernando Tatis was like this groupie thing that everybody was going out there to do, right?
No, he's
really
legit.
believe that everybody was. Because I think we have baseball fans in San Antonio, of course, right? I think we have a decent baseball culture, but there was actually people going out there to go see this guy take batting practice and look at him, and it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
No, I don't think it's weird.
I do. I think it's weird. I think it's strange. I think it's stalkerish.
Why is it weird that people are fans of a really, really exceptional Hispanic player that represents their culture? Why is that weird?
I don't necessarily know if I think it's that. I'm not taking anything away from there. I just kind of believe that it was, I don't know. I think we're starving for talent and winners in the city right now. And so they're like, hey, who's here? I don't know. Somebody that's the junior flyweight, B weight at 0 pounds. And everybody's like, oh, we got to go see him. We got to go see him because he has 10 belts. But he's at HEB.
Well, you know what? I was actually saying that. I saw my friend Michael Jimenez from the San Antonio Sports Star. I was there, and I had turned to him, and I was like, there's such a long line, and I think it's because people in San Antonio are starving for a superstar to come here and perform. I mean, yes, there's talent in San Antonio with the San Antonio Spurs, but this is the youngest player to be signed, one of the biggest contracts in the Major League Baseball. San Antonio doesn't have a Major League Baseball team. Yes, we love the Missions, but there's nobody this big in Major League Baseball that has played in a really long time. So that explains the long lines. That explains why people wanted to come out and behave groupie style. I don't blame them for wanting to come out and try to do that stuff.
Well, they were in your First of all, they're your groupies, and then do they like you, or is it Fernando Tatis?
They like Fernando Tatis Jr. That's my whole point. They don't like me. They like Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay.
And I feel like they were using me as a vessel to get to Fernando Tatis Jr. by any means necessary. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I just feel a certain way about it. I mean, listen, I appreciate that he was here. I think it was awesome. I think the Missions game was almost sold out. Like, there were a lot of people out there. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's a baseball player, and he's playing Double-A right now. Yeah, okay. Woo.
No, I mean, he's a kind of a big deal.
I think I feel that. I feel the same way about that, and what's that called? Fantasy football. Okay. Those two are kind of like in the same range for me. Like, all these guys that go out there and they play all these fantasy football leagues. You want to talk about like a bro thing? That's a bro thing. Yeah. That's, what we talked about last episode where, what do dudes do? Well, fantasy football, dude. But listen, people make a lot of money off of fantasy football.
People like,
I've played, sitting around for 3 hours and drafting imaginary people is not my sign of fun.
Everybody has things that they love, things that they hate.
Of course.
We all have different things. If people love that, I'm more
no
of
shade,
a
no shade.
no shade. I'm more of a gambling person. Some people more fantasy.
You do gamble.
I do gamble. Some people, I feel like you're either gambling or fantasy. But either way, I mean, I feel like people coming out to support Fernando Tatis Jr. at the end of the day, it benefits the Missions. The Missions need asses in their seats. And they're great people. Their organization has always been really, really kind to me. They need asses in their seats, and that's what they got with having Fernando Tatis Jr. in the building. So the winner is the Missions.
So the organization's good because they treat you good? That's the only reason?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because there's organizations that
so if they don't treat you good, then they're not a good organization.
Not in my book. You X'd out for life.
So you did basketball. You did.
No, I did boxing. That's what I'm saying. Like
boxing. I'm sorry. My mind already is going to our bad boy of the Spurs now.
Well, boxing. Yeah. All I'm saying is that boxing, they treat me really well. I feel wanted. I feel accepted. And the same thing with the Missions. So I'm always going to show them love because they show me love. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
They're on my good side. That's it. Because you have a good side, you have a bad side, right? You have a list of people that you like and you don't like.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, I didn't want to get too deep. Anyways. So, want to talk about this whole Dejounte Murray thing because everybody and their mother who is in San Antonio, who loves the Spurs, who is on Spurs Twitter particularly, has been talking about this situation. Dejounte Murray is having a beef with Paolo Banchero. Now, this beef is a Seattle beef, okay? We have San Antonio beefs like you have like beefs like the Bears versus the Packers, or you have the Astros and the A's, or you have the Cowboys and the Eagles. This Dejounte Murray versus Paolo Banchero thing, this is a Seattle thing. This is a Seattle rivalry. A lot of great players come out of Seattle. Seattle breeds NBA players. You have Jamal Crawford, you have Zach LaVine, Nate Robinson, Isaiah Thomas, Brandon Roy, Jason Terry, Doug Christie, then you have Dejounte Murray, and you have Paolo Banchero. Now, this rivalry, I want to ask you guys a question. Is Dejounte Murray really a bad guy, or are NBA fans soft now? That's what I really want to know from you guys, because this is something that has been plaguing me ever since I've seen this beef go down. I mean, Dejounte Murray, ever since he got let go from the Spurs, he went on Twitter and he took some shots at the San Antonio Spurs saying they were going to suck for the next 15 years. That really rubbed people on Spurs Twitter the wrong way. They said he was immature for his comments, for the things that he said. And it seems like that amped up Dejounte Murray even more. He's been doing these pro AM games and showing out for the young kids. There's a gentleman who he was playing against who was a 9-to-5 worker, and he was guarding Dejounte Murray and almost grabbed him by his balls. And when he grabbed him by his balls, Dejounte Murray bounced the ball in his head. Also, when he did that, he also proceeded to start talking trash to Paolo Banchero because of everything that was going on. So he
okay. I'm already bored with this story.
Well, no, hold on. I'm asking.
But and that's not you. But he throws a pass and then they're on Twitter beefing. Like, why?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get to. My point. The reason why they're beefing is because I think this is a good thing for the NBA. You don't think this is a good thing for the NBA?
I don't know.
Paolo Banchero plays for the Orlando Magic. Dejounte Murray plays for the Hawks now. This is great stuff for the NBA. And what I'm saying is a lot of people are saying Dejounte Murray is classless. Dejounte Murray's a thug. Dejounte Murray is immature.
Whoa, somebody's called Dejounte Murray a thug because of this?
A thug. He's a thug, right?
Who called him a thug?
Twitter. You know Twitter's a bunch of...
Oh, Twitter.
Yeah, you know, say everything. But these comments to me, they were really shocking to me because I was like, look, it's interesting that people now on the NBA, when you look at the NBA, you see a lot of NBA players on different teams. They're friends now. Everybody gets along. Everybody has a good time. Everybody, shows like Trae Young and Dejounte Murray have been friends for a long time. There's people who are in the NBA that have good vibes. We haven't really seen a true rivalry in a really long time. Let the NBA capitalize off this. I think this is going to make more eyeballs tune into the NBA. And it's okay to have a good rivalry. I mean, these are two players that don't get along. They took shots at each other on social media. When you take shots at each other on social media, to me nowadays, because NBA players are younger, this is the new way that NBA players communicate. They communicate through social media. They didn't have those things back then.
Back when? When is that, Karen?
Back in the day, like in the 80s, you had the bad boy Pistons. They didn't get along with Michael Jordan. They had to come up with the Michael Jordan rules because of everything was going on. Isaiah Thomas had a bad reputation. He was portrayed as a bad boy. And then you have like people like Latrell Sprewell who were portrayed as bad boys. You have people like Charles Barkley who were portrayed as bad boys. You had Kevin Garnett who was portrayed to have a bad mouth. And these people really, and Dennis Rodman had the bad boy persona.
Dennis Rodman was a bad boy.
He wasn't actually.
And I think that's one of the things is that he was a bad boy, whereas some of these other people are not even close. Dejounte Murray's not a bad boy. And a beef in a pro-am game with Paolo Banchero is not,
Paolo Banchero.
Banchero,
yeah, it's okay. You're
not going to bring back some rivalry in the NBA of bad boys.
No, but I'm saying is he a bad? He is. If he wants to embrace that bad boy role and this is what he wants to do, what is wrong with that? Is he an actual bad person? Like people are trying to portray him in the media, saying.
Well, I mean, you do wind up getting a reputation when you decide to be a bad boy.
That's what I agree with you. He is quote unquote a bad boy now, but is he really a bad boy in a sense? Like, I feel like a real bad boy would be getting in trouble with the law. They would be getting caught with drugs. People are making it seem like he committed a crime. That's how he's being treated by the media. Like he's this horrible person who, that's why the Spurs left him, because he's just he's this horrible person. And I don't think he's a horrible person. I just think he's just succumbing to the bad boy persona that everybody's been giving him, and he's doing it.
He's not a bad boy. I think, but we are seeing the real Dejounte Murray. I think we're seeing a young man that's playing in the NBA that's doing a good job, and who's making millions of dollars, and that's it. There's no more to that. He's not a thug. He's not a bad guy. He's a young man. Listen, anybody between the age of 21 and 27 years old, man, the things I did, speaking of bad boys, like, man, like, no, that's not, this guy's a millionaire. He's having a good time playing in the NBA. What's happening is these athletes, or excuse me, not athletes, these fans are upset because they don't like their lives. They're bored. They don't like who they are as a person. They wish they could be Dejounte Murray. They wish they could drive the cars, pull the girls, buy stuff for their family. These people, especially the men, don't like themselves because they want to be a bad guy. They want to make money. They want to have millions of dollars to throw and go to the strip club and be acting like you're talking on a cell phone full of stack of cash. But they can't do that. So what are they going to do? They're going to hate. They're going to hate, and they're going to hate like the little people they are. And that's who they are. They're little people. Anybody hating on Dejounte Murray is a little person. And I was a little person when I used to hate on, what's that dude's name? Jazz Hands. What was his name? He played for the Spurs. Tall. He has a brother in the league. Why are you laughing? They're little people. They're little people with little hands going like this. On little keyboards and little Twitter thumbs. They're just like, it's Dejounte Murray. 4 weeks ago, we loved the kid. He leaves, and now he's the scourge of the earth.
He's the villain.
Take the little fingers, go somewhere else. All right?
Okay, you said it better than I could, Frank.
Hey, little hands, little fingers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, little hands, little fingers, and little, this is a podcast, so little penises. Little penises.
No, well, I don't know about all that.
Well, I mean, if the shoe fits, if you're going to have that energy.
Little shoes, too?
If you're going to have small penis energy, then we're going to call it what it is.
Little eggplant.
Little eggplant. Yeah, we're going to call it little eggplants.
Little eggplant.
We're going to call Twitter trolls the little eggplants.
Yeah, it's trolls. It's like you have nothing else better to do with your day than drive around, honk your horn at people, cut people off in traffic, and then come home and just get upset at Dejounte Murray because he's living his life.
Exactly. And you said it better than I could. Everything you said was spot on. I totally agree with you.
Then they're going to buy tickets to the game to go boo him.
Yeah.
Think about that. You're going to go to a game to do this. Boo. Like, come on.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. I'm a fan of Dejounte Murray.
I am too.
We don't know what really happened within the Spurs organization. We kind of have an idea of what might have happened. I kind of know a little bit of something here and there. It could be because the Spurs did not want to make Dejounte Murray the face of their franchise. And now that he's acting like, quote unquote, the way he's acting in the public at the Pro-Am games, people are saying this is why that the Spurs did not want to make Dejounte Murray the face of the franchise.
Of course.
Yeah, but it could also, too, be like every time Dejounte Murray is not a scrub on the streets. He was just an all-star last year, and a lot of people say he was an all-star because he got in there by default because he was on the reserves. But this is somebody who was putting up triple doubles. He broke a Spurs record. He was putting up same numbers as Michael Jordan throughout last season. He came back from a torn ACL. His numbers have been impeccable, and he's only getting greater from here, I would say. And the way that he was treated by the media was I guess less than stellar once he left, and the way he's been behaving here, especially here in San Antonio. I don't really agree or subscribe to how he's being treated. But my main thing is that it could also be, too, anytime one of these players in San Antonio is up for a max contract, they seem to take a step back, and the Spurs always want some type of Dunkin' discount. And the thing about the Spurs is that they got to realize that this is a younger team. These are younger players. They now know their worth. They're not going to take these discounts like the older players took back in the day. And Dejounte Murray knew what his worth was, and he wanted to get what he deserved, and the Spurs did not want to give him what he felt like he deserved. And that is why they parted mutual ways. That's just my theory of what happened.
Yeah.
And it could be because they think he was going to act like the way he's acting in the Pro-Am games. I really don't care. To me, it's entertainment. I'm excited to see what Dejounte Murray does this season. I'm not a Dejounte hater, so
yeah, I'm not going to be a Dejounte hater just to be a Dejounte hater, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you were cheering for him this season,
exactly,
then keep that same energy. Just because he said he doesn't feel that the Spurs are going to be successful for the next 15 years, don't turn your back on him, because you really don't know what happened within the organization. If you're not mature enough to elevate your mind to see past that, it is what it is. So whatever. we got the top NFL revenge games that we want to talk about.
All right, cool. So, listen, as everybody knows, we haven't talked about how new we are. We're working out some cool stuff over here. Carolina's pushing me to be a better podcast producer. She's absolutely amazing at what she does. So I'm happy to not be the co-host of this show.
You are not the co-host.
I'm not the co-host.
You're definitely not the co-host.
But we got this cool little graphic coming up, and we are now, Carolina, going to be talking about. This is the League of Our Own. Hold on, we're going to let it spin through again because it didn't spin through correctly. Let's see if I can hit this again. 3, 2, 1, and okay, that was like a wah 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 moment. Hold on, let's do this.
We're trying over here. We a little hood sometimes, you know.
Yeah, we a little hood.
We're a little hood with our hood graphics, but we tried over here though.
Let me see something here. Hold on. This graphic's going to work.
But this is really good graphic, though.
Yeah, this graphic is going to work. We spent way too long. So this is where we're going to get dragged, right?
Don't ask me where my what's in my cup, too, by the way.
Well, yeah, what's in your cup, Carolina? You know what? That should be a segment. Like, what's in your cup segment.
Yeah, we should.
And then you have to guess what's in her cup.
And if you could guess what's in my cup, I'll give y'all a gift card.
You'll give them a gift card?
Yeah. If you can properly guess what's in my cup, you'll get a gift card.
Okay. I think that's legit.
Let's do that. Legit. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I think our graphic's ready.
Okay, let's roll the tape. Roll the tape.
Cool. Maybe not. I lied.
Well, if you so should we talk about the revenge games and just roll through?
I'm gonna try one more thing. Yeah, we're gonna start talking about the revenge game.
Okay, boo. I'm here with you. You know what? All I am gonna say is that, you know, greatness takes time. And we're not going to let perfect get in the way of possible, right? Or possible get in the way. What is it? We're not going to let impossible
There we go.
There we go. Yay. Top 5 NFL revenge games to watch. 2022.
Wah, 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 wah.
No. This was great. Boom. All right. So the first game that we have
is going to be revenge game. Number 1. Broncos Seahawks.
Broncos Seahawks. Wow, that's going to be a really, really great game. And the reason why I feel like this is going to be one of my first picks for revenge game of the season is because Russell Wilson played for the Seahawks, was a quarterback. He planned on being a Seattle Seahawk for the rest of the season until he started having fallout with the organization, the top organization, because Seahawks were not putting the pieces around him offensively to be great for his offensive line, and he was upset about that, and he moved on to the Broncos, and now they're going to be playing in week 1, and I feel like the NFL did this on purpose because Russell Wilson going to the Broncos was huge news. I mean, you don't expect an elite quarterback to be leaving their organization that they're supposed to be a part of for the rest of their lives to go to the Broncos. So I'm excited about what's going to happen here. There's been a mantra for the last couple years for Russell Wilson. Everybody's been saying, let Russ cook, let Russ cook. But I think the Broncos receivers are going to do an incredible job at Lumen Field, and the Seahawks defense hasn't been that great. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm excited to see Russell Wilson come back and have his revenge game against the against the Seahawks, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's going to be legit. I think you got a good take on that. And I think, I agree with you. What the NFL did was they said, hey, week 1, we're going to do this big. And, hey, this is America's sport right now. Football I'm hyped again. Yeah, we had a couple of weeks of baseball, no basketball, but it's back, man. And I'm excited.
The best time of the year, hands down.
All right. Game number 2.
Okay, revenge game. Number 2 of the season. My pick is the Bills versus the Chiefs. Now, this one is going to be a really, really fun game to watch. And the reason why is because I don't know if you guys remember what happened, but there was that final game versus Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. And it was remembered for the final 13 seconds. And it was one of the best games to me, it was one of the best few games in the last few seasons. And it was probably one of the most iconic games in NFL history. This particular game last season for the divisional playoff for the AFC changed the overtime rules of the NFL to have a reasonable solution, because basically this game was down to the wire. The winner of this game would have been whoever had their hands on the ball last. And this was an amazing just offensive performance. Both quarterbacks did a great job. Josh Allen matched Patrick Mahomes. Every target they had, they went target for target. They completed 27 of 37 passes for 329 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Josh Allen played an incredible job that game. And the only thing Josh Allen didn't have was a chance to respond to the Kansas City overtime drive that ended with Patrick Mahomes' pass to tight end Travis Kelce. So because it changed the overtime rules, and it was a huge deal last season, and I felt like whoever won this game was going to be the person who had the ball last, I'm really excited to see who ends up winning this game. I feel like this is going to be a great revenge game to watch. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen in week 6.
That's a really good pick. One thing I think everybody should do, and maybe we start doing it, is, sharing these games on a YouTube channel or something like that during the week, so people can kind of get an idea. Because as you talked about that game, all I can remember is like how great that game was, and how I've gone in and just watched the end of that game, at least 3 or 4 times. So that was a great game for both quarterbacks. But again, Patrick Mahomes is no joke. So
yeah, and then also the craziest part is like now the NFL changed the postseason games, and we're here on we're revenge game 3 of the season, and we have the graphic froze. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me because it's gonna be the Colts versus the Las Vegas Raiders, and I feel like the reason why I chose this game, the Colts versus the Raiders, is because the Colts seem to have a what I have a problem with here is that the Las Vegas Raiders, they've done an incredible job, and the Colts too. The Colts had their issues with were they going to make it to the playoffs or not, and it really came down to the final 2 games of the NFL season, and they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, and because of that, it blew their playoff chances. Their loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, it was one of those hardcore games that really stopped them. So if I had to pick a game that I would select, it'd definitely be this one. This is my 3rd revenge game of the NFL.
Okay, that was Colts versus Raiders, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, as a producer, I didn't hit the right render button, so it just got.
You don't have to explain yourself to us.
No, honey. I know. I'm just letting people know. Like, this is what happened. I'm gonna get yelled at after the show anyway. We need to get an after show when Carolina yells at me.
I'm not gonna yell at you. I'm not gonna yell at you. Stop! Don't pay me out to be this diva. I'm not a diva. I don't care.
Revenge game.
You see how he's doing me? He's trying to make me feel like I'm a diva. I'm not. Watch me yell at you anyway. I'll be like, I can't believe you messed that graphic up. Okay. All right. So we got the Browns versus Texans. Okay. This is going to be a great revenge game too because, well, obvious reasons. Deshaun Watson played for the Texans. He had issues with the Texans, didn't play all last season, had a falling out with them, and then he was traded to the Cleveland Browns. And now that he's playing for the Cleveland Browns, we don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, whether he's going to be out for 6 games or not. But for me, the revenge factor here is Deshaun Watson leaving an organization he wasn't happy with and going to the Cleveland Browns and trying to be successful over there. Now, excuse me, we don't know what's going to end up happening. We don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to actually be out for the whole entire NFL season because of the appeal, but it would be interesting to see this game go down because of the bad blood. And there is that conspiracy theory that I used to believe in, but I no longer believe in, that the owner of the Texans had that conspiracy to set up Deshaun Watson for the sexual allegations. A theory I no longer subscribe to because I've seen the interviews from all the women, and to me it seems like this is a pretty believable situation, but that's neither here nor there. That's why I'm excited about this one, simply because of the Deshaun Watson trade from the Texans to the Browns.
Yeah, are you waiting for me?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean,
yeah, so listen, I think it's going to be very interesting if Deshaun is playing. We're not even too sure if he's going to be playing by this time. This is what number week was this?
This is week 13, I believe.
13, yeah. I thought it was said 13 in our show notes.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be kind of special, but if Deshaun Watson's not playing, I guess if Baker Mayfield was playing for the Texans and Deshaun was actually on for the Browns, I think that'd be a great revenge game. Deshaun might be, not even important at this moment. He might be sitting on the beach somewhere because the NFL is going to fight the suspension, and they want a longer suspension. So,
yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I don't think it'll be. I'm actually going to take this off my list if they don't play. It's not going to be a revenge game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game though, especially if Deshaun is playing.
Okay, the fifth and the final one is going to be the Chiefs versus the Bengals. And the reason why I say this is because there's two great quarterbacks. You have Patrick Mahomes, who is a $500 million man. And then you have Joe Burrow, who's making a name for himself. Rookie season. He's been playing for 2 seasons, going on 3. And he's been making his name known with the AFC, and I think this is probably the league's best new rivalry. I mean, they're 2 young superstar quarterbacks. They're both explosive on the offense, even though Joe Burrow has a weak offensive line and he takes a lot of hits. They both have fan bases that are super hardcore and passionate, and they make these games very, very entertaining. If you have a great quarterback, then the NFL game is 9 times out of 10 going to be very, very entertaining because we're going to see some touchdowns. If the quarterbacks suck, we don't see touchdowns. So I definitely think Chiefs versus Bengals, that's on my list. This is going to be a rivalry for years to come. That is what I think. And so we'll see what happens.
All right. We'll see. I think it's going to be a good game. I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs a lot.
One final point that I want to make, Guylan, about this, I like the Chiefs too. But last year in 2021, the Bengals swept the Chiefs. And nobody was expecting that. I mean, you're paying Patrick Mahomes $500 million, and you have Joe Burrow, essentially a rookie, with a bad offensive line, and he's sweeping the Chiefs. I mean, we weren't expecting that. And these were the 2-time AFC defending champs at the time. And when they won that game, the second game, the Bengals clinched a playoff berth. And then they won again in a conference title game. So shout out to the Bengals. I mean, I'm really interested to see what they're going to be doing. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Hey, a good take. I agree to an extent. We'll see what happens. This could be the most boring game in the world come back around. But something tells me there's going to be some fire in this game, right?
I think it's going to be a good rivalry between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Those are going to be 2 great quarterback rivalries that I'm really interested in seeing this season.
I agree. All right, now we're moving on. Listen, I think this is a great segment you came up with. Or did I come up with this one?
Was it me or you?
I came up with this one. Top 3 players. Actually, we said top 5 players. So it was top 3 players to watch. So first 2 are yours, and then the last was mine. So knowing you're a Bears fan, what's up? Talk to us.
Yo, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this Roquan Smith drama that's been going on, but I am really excited. First of all, that picture right there on that graphic was a fire graphic, and it was Roquan Smith in a Chicago Bears uniform. We don't know if Roquan Smith will be in a Chicago Bears uniform by the end of this year because Roquan Smith has demanded a trade. He's really upset right now with the Chicago Bears organization, and it was reported by Ian Rappaport yesterday via he had a post on his notes. It was reported that he basically is unhappy. He's tried to negotiate a deal with the Chicago Bears. They didn't want to come around to negotiate a deal in good faith, according to Roquan Smith. He's been trying to negotiate a good deal, but he said that the Bears have been hitting him with a take it or leave it attitude this whole entire negotiation situation. And the deal that was sent to him was a bad deal on its own, and he believes that if he takes this deal, he sets the tone for the entire linebacker market if he signs it. Now, the issue with Roquan Smith is that Roquan Smith does not have an agent right now. So it's very rare that an NFL player does not have an agent, but we've seen it happen before. And we've also seen NFL players come out and tell the public that they're unhappy with the organization. We just saw that recently. As well with Deebo Samuels. That happened. But he ended up re-signing with the 49ers. I mean, this could be a cry for Roquan Smith to sign with the Chicago Bears. He made it clear he wants to be a part of this organization. But what's interesting about it is the fact that he doesn't have an agent. that's the part that really I really want to see how this turns, because I feel like organizations can take advantage of players when they don't have an agent, because agents don't have, when you don't have an agent, you don't have somebody to take out these clauses in the contract like Roquan Smith had. Roquan Smith had a contract clauses in his contract that he wasn't happy with, number one. And number two, he wasn't happy with the amount he was given. The linebacker market right now is he wanted something over $15 million. The Chicago Bears reported it was something around the $23 million per year range. The Chicago Bears do not have enough cap space. They'll have enough cap space next year when they have at least $96 million in cap space, so they can sign players like this. He's more so of a veteran player on the defense. He's one of the better players of the defense in addition to their other players. But I feel like this is a player that I'm really interested in seeing, because I want to see where he's going to go to.
Yeah. So quick question. Do you think that him demanding, I mean, people get upset with LeBron James or getting upset with Kevin Durant. Do you think this is hurting athletics when you have players that have so much control over where they want to go, you know, what they want to be paid and everything else, really where they want to go and if they're going to play or not?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Well, do you think that it's hurting the game when players can command where they want to go and who they want to play for?
No, I don't. Because you want to know why? Because for years, organizations have been doing that. They've been trading players without, and nobody cares. Nobody raises a red flag. It's not a question. But when players want to take their own fate into their own hands, people question it. It's a problem. I think the power players should take their power into their hands, and it's really telling that players want to be able to use their voice. He doesn't have an agent, but what he does have is he has a voice, and that's why he went public, because he wants the Chicago Bears to know he wants to negotiate with them, and they're giving him a hard ball to negotiate with, and he wants to let the world know, hey, I have these numbers, I'm one of the better players on the team, and now the world knows. So give me the contract that I asked for, or at least let's come to a middle ground. People are saying he wants the $23 million, but he said he's trying to come to a common ground, and they're refusing to do that. I don't know if they're offering him that 15 or 16 mil. Maybe he wants 17 or 18. But they need to come to a common ground before it's too late.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So our second player to watch this year is Mr. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, this is probably like one of my favorite players in the NFL. I mean, I like watching his clips. He's very entertaining. He has a great personality. He seems like a humble kid. He's a leader on the team. He took this team with a poor offensive line all the way to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Bengals were not expected to be anywhere in that field throughout the season. They were projected to be last or third in their division, and then they ended up going all the way to the Super Bowl because of this guy right here. Him and Jamar Chase, that wide receiver quarterback duo is phenomenal, and I can only imagine how much they will improve if they improve their offensive line this season. They're pretty much going to be unstoppable, because this guy has an arm. This guy, he can throw. When I see this guy on the field, I know he's going to do something. I used to watch NFL games last year, and I was covering my eyes, scared, because I thought he was going to get beat up because of the offensive line, but he knows how to run outside of the pocket. He's very mobile. He knows how to hit, throw to his targets. He has a great arm. This has to be probably one of my favorite players in the NFL right now, because like I said before, if you don't have a good quarterback, you don't have a good NFL team. This man right here, that's the face of the franchise. That's the face of the Bengals. That's the face of the future for the NFL. That is my guy right there, Joe Burrow. He's $1 million baby. That's my baby right there. And he contributed to the success of the Bengals. So I feel more than optimistic about his future. So I'm going to keep my eye on him this season, because I want to see what he's going to do. So Joe Burrow, Roquan Smith, those are the people I'm most interested in the NFL right now. What about you, Gylan?
Okay, last but not least, I am a huge fan of Mr. Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
I can't say enough about how this man plays football, his passion, his never give up. People like, well, he can't throw between here and there. There's always some sort of criticism. But when he is healthy, all he does is win. He wins and he wins and he wins. I mean, listen, we don't know what's going to happen this year, but Lamar Jackson is promised to be electrifying. We know that for a fact, that Lamar Jackson is going to electrify everybody. And, if you go and you compare his stats the first few years he's been in the leagues to the greats, to the greatest of greatest NFL quarterbacks, he is right up there with them. It's just the disrespect that Lamar Jackson gets as an NFL quarterback is disgusting. And it's those same little finger people that are out there on Twitter and they have nothing else better to say. Go look up the stats. Lamar Jackson's the truth. And he has gotten hurt scrambling later on in the season the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. But they've been concussed. They have not been like ankle injuries or knee injuries or anything else. For him to be a running quarterback, he's pretty damn healthy. And Mike Vick, who is one that could be arguably the greatest running quarterback ever, has said Lamar Jackson's so much better than he is. So you got to take it from the greats. And I'm excited to see what Lamar Jackson, this team's going to do this year.
And I feel like you said his stats throw a pretty accurate, picture of his career. Baltimore Ravens, they're 37-12 in the regular season when Lamar Jackson is a starter on the team. Since his first NFL start in Week 11 in 2018, his 37 wins are tied with Josh Allen for fourth most among quarterbacks, trailing behind only Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady. So when you have these numbers, you are in elite company. He's ranked 7th in all-time in rushing yards among NFL quarterbacks. And his 10 career performances with 100 or more rushing yards are tied with Michael Vick for the most by a quarterback in NFL history. So I agree with what you're saying. He has a lot of criticism about his ankle injury, and I think the media has a tendency to treat him a lot tougher than they treat other quarterbacks. But I see promise with him. I feel like it's not necessarily a Lamar Jackson issue. It's an offensive line issue.
Well, that team was beat up last year.
Exactly.
That team was decimated by injuries, so that's what it boils down to.
Exactly. And I feel like I'm excited to see what Lamar Jackson does this year. The offensive line is healthier this year, so I agree with you. This is a great player to be on the watch for because I want to see him win.
Yeah, and you can't root against him. He's not a bad guy. Like the dudes, he's made some Twitter mess ups, and I know all you people who sitting up there watching Dejounte Murray. It's the second time I've done that. Or watching Lamar Jackson and this getting on the bus for being upset. Okay, but last but not least, so we've had a good show, Carolina.
Yeah.
This has been a great show. But last but not least, we're going to go to, finally,
this or
what
that.
you love. This or that. Mm-hmm. All right?
Let's do it.
So in this case, this or that tonight, I don't want to say it's a special edition, but I got people walking in. It's not a special edition, but it is pretty cool. So with Beyonce just reaching a milestone, reaching another or releasing another album, and anytime somebody does something or says something about Beyonce, her beehive jumps on. So who is a more powerful group? Is it the Swifties, which are Taylor Swift's posse, or the Beehive?
It's going to be the Beehive for sure.
But what about Taylor Swift?
Man, Taylor Swifties, they do have a lot of power because they made Nicki Minaj Super Bass go up. That was like one of her first biggest hits, and it was because of the Swifties that happened, because Taylor Swift was singing one of her songs. But the Beehive is hardcore. The Beehive they'll stalk you, they'll approach you in public, they'll try to ruin your life, they'll try to ruin your career, they'll attack you in person, and they'll attack you in public too. If you say anything about Beyonce, expect all the bees underneath your comments. Definitely Beehive over the Swifties. Give me the Beehive. What about you?
I'll give it to the Beehive all day long. Beehive. I would not mess with them at all.
Okay.
Both of my daughters, I think you just are jumped into the Beehive on Twitter, I guess. I don't know how you get in the Beehive. Uh-huh. But yeah, my daughters.
You get rolled in like a gang.
Right. Okay, so with Major League Baseball being exciting and everything else like that, this segment again is called This or That. Would you rather be this, the MLB, or that, the NHL?
I'd definitely be the MLB. Because the money is there for the players. If I was a player I'd rather be a player for Major League Baseball than the National Hockey League. If we're talking about me as a player, because I make a lot of money. I feel like the Major League Baseball players are more swaggy. They got a little bit more drip. NHL players, they make good money too, and they're really, I love them because they're hardcore and aggressive. But I feel like I risk getting my tooth knocked out. I risk getting beat up all the time. I just want to get on the field and hit a ball or two and run, and I'll be all right.
All right. Hey, that makes sense. You know, I would probably on the surface want to be MLB, but I would love to be able to ice skate and just full force knock somebody out. And listen, the fights are regulated. I mean, they're normal in the NHL. You can fight in the NHL. So if you don't like somebody, Dejounte Murray and what's his other dudes, Paulo, they would have been throwing down if they were in the NHL.
Yeah, Dejounte would have smacked him with a hockey stick.
Yeah, so I like the NHL. When I've gone to a couple of games, they've been fun. It's just so hard to watch on TV because that little puck doesn't translate well.
No, I get you.
All right. And last but not least, breakfast tacos or breakfast burritos.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not. A taco's not a burrito.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not.
That's the exact same thing.
How in the hell are you going to say...
How is it different? Please tell me how a breakfast taco is different from a breakfast burrito.
A breakfast burrito taco size is about that big for a taco. A burrito is like that big.
Oh, okay.
A taco is not rolled over. A taco's like that big. A burrito is like that big and it's chunky.
But it's essentially the same thing. It's like a tortilla with filling.
No, it's not.
What is just rolled in a circle?
It's a big tortilla with a lot of filling. So, like, you have beans. I mean, yes, essentially, but they're not the same thing.
Okay, so if I had
I think you're going to get dragged for this
if I feel like I had to choose between either or, I'm going to go with the taco because, first of all, I'm a taco my damn self, so I got to roll with my people. And I'm just kidding. No, the reason why I say taco is because they're smaller, they're easier to eat. It's more convenient for me to eat a breakfast taco than a big ass breakfast burrito and just eat too damn much.
I agree with you. I'm glad you got that right because a breakfast burrito is huge. The reason I bring this up is because there's a spot called Stuffed, and they do, believe it or not, Cali has these amazing burritos. And breakfast burritos. They do breakfast burritos and breakfast tacos or breakfast burritos. They don't do breakfast tacos in Cali, especially San Diego and LA area. So they have breakfast burritos, and these burritos are massive and they're amazing. And there's a place in San Antonio called Stuffed. So if you're traveling through San Antonio, because I know we got people listening to us all over the place, you got to go to Stuffed, people. It is amazing when it comes to really good food, heavy food that you're going to enjoy eating.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. So what you got? What you going to leave the people with, Miss Carolina?
Man, look. I dedicate this episode today to Richard Woody Caballero. This is my friend Sasha, her child. She, I remember seeing him back in the day on the baby bus, and I used to, when my son was a little kid, he would be on the baby bus as well. I was a teen mom, as you guys know, so I take the bus to school every day. And her son was there, and unfortunately he passed away recently, so this episode is dedicated to him. And I had a lot of fun with you. We're getting the hang of things, so I'm excited to...
This is legit. This is legit.
The studio's legit, the lighting's legit, and I'm really excited to see what we have in the future. So I want to thank everybody who tuned in today. I want to thank everybody who supported me and showed me love, and as always, I will see you guys next week. Bye!